This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 245 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Nicole, racket number one. Let's jump right into it.
Jumping right in. You had a little pause there. I thought I lost you.
Well, you didn't lose me. That's the art of the pause. We
Yeah,
heard Tim Grover speak last week in San Diego. We were
we
out
heard
there.
him. We heard him pause. That's for sure.
He is the master of public speaking pauses. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the master of breaking down what's going on with mergers, acquisitions, consolidations, and liquidations has just dropped an article on Inman for us to cover. Mike Del Prete. Expect more of these mergers, acquisitions, consolidations, and liquidations. Cash is king, Del Prete says. In today's market, a company's cash flow determines if it's in control of its own destiny. I'm going to break down exactly what he's talking about in terms of some of these big companies that we all know about in our industry. Be thinking maybe along the way here of how you should be relating this to your business. Where can you
Mm-hmm.
get more cash? We'll touch that here in just a minute. Let's show the first chart that Del Prete has here in his article, and he's calling this predators and prey. Okay, so there's either going to be some predators going out looking for these acquisitions
Mm-hmm.
in terms of companies, and then there's going to be some companies that are preyed on. 1 year stock performance. He's got the four big names up here. We'll put that up. Compass, $2.46. Wow. I know a lot of people that bought them at $20. They're down 81+% on the year. Open Door Technologies, $2.48. That market maker down almost 90% their stock. And Zillow Group, they're at $29 and change. They're down 69+%. Redfin at $4 a share is down 92.35%. All right, so the real estate is in the midst of a massive financial reckoning. Del Prete says public company valuations are down by the billions, widespread layoffs, and a rush for venture-funded disruptors to conserve cash and demonstrate sustainable business models. Okay. People are burning cash at a ridiculous level. If you just dig deep into what, Redfin's got for cash, or, we're going to talk about Compass here in a second. It's startling. Okay. Something may have to happen with some of these companies. If we look at the cash balance in Q2 of 2022, you can see that the healthiest company in the space is CoStar. And Nicole, when you think CoStar, you're not thinking residential, although we've talked about it many times. They've now dipped their toe into residential the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect them. Do you expect CoStar, Nicole, to make moves right now while there's going to be companies going on sale?
Oh, of course. Look at them. They're almost double like cash heavy than these other groups.
Their cash is up over 4 billion,
Billion.
where
Yep.
Open Door is just over 2 billion, Zillow's up over 2 billion. Now, Open Door and Zillow have that, strategic alignment happening. Shall we say a potential, stepping stone for Zillow to buy Open Door, and that would put them over 2 billion in cash, or 4 billion right
Yep.
there with CoStar if that happens. Guys, Zillow's not going anywhere. When we talk about their ability to compete with the Redfins or the brokerages and the amount of cash that they have, Zillow will sustain anything that's going to happen over the next couple of years just based off of their cash position. So Opendoor and Zillow are next. First American, Rocket Loans. People are like, oh, I don't like dealing with Rocket Loans. Do you realize they've been in the business for 30 years?
I actually don't mind working with Rocket Loans. I
But
mean,
do you hear agents complain about it all the
oh,
time? Like,
all
it's
the
the first thing
time.
to
I mean,
say?
I don't ever have my buyers do it, but if I'm working with a Rocket Loan on the other side, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times. They're like over communicators. So,
Yeah.
and that's again in this business, that's what you need, over communication. I've never had a problem with Rocket. I'll be honest, I didn't realize that they were in the business that long. I feel like just recently we've been hearing a little bit more about them, and
They're
consumers are using them as sort of like another like opportunity to sort of rate shop, but
They've spent a lot of money on the rebrand because obviously they were Quicken Loans
right.
for years before
Yep.
that. But yeah, they've been in the business 30 years. the owner of that company, who owns the Cavaliers, he owns some. I think he owns maybe the Red. He owns a professional team in Detroit as well. Not
Mhm.
I forget which one. Dude's not going anywhere. Dude's hard nosed billionaire. Rocket loans, they're not going anywhere. They could get into the space when I'm talking about CoStar making moves residential. They've got Rocket Homes. Watch for them to be a player, a predator, as Mike Del Preti's calling it, and not the prey. All right. Companies that are just not sitting on cash. Compass, Redfin, Anywhere, aka Realogy. If you're anywhere, are you really anywhere?
Anywhere.
Douglas Elliman, OfferPad, EXP. None of those companies are sitting on cash. Companies like Zillow, CoStar, and Rocket are predators. Okay, so we got that right. Flush with cash and opportunistically acquisitive in their outlook. So they are going to be acquiring the prey. Let's put up Compass's cash balance. Compass is a company that is going to get preyed on here. I have for more than 12 months at least been predicting this. So, Mike, welcome to the party. I've been saying this for months. Compass cash balance Q2 2021 was almost $1 billion. Fast forward to Q1 of 2023, they're at about $250 million. And you can see the chart. It is on an absolute decline. They've stopped expansion. Okay. They are burning cash. And at some point, they will run out. Nicole, have you ever seen on HBO the HBO original Too Big to Fail?
I have not seen it.
It's like the version of the movie The Big Short,
Okay.
kind of from a different angle. They're
I'll
cutting
have
in
to watch it.
Yeah, Too Big to Fail. They're cutting in a whole bunch of old news clips, and then they've got all these actors like acting out certain parts, the CEOs of these major banks and all of this. And like, it's amazing that back then that companies would get to like, oh, we're going to be out of money tomorrow. Like, think about AIG,
Right.
what happened with Lehman, what happened with a whole bunch of these banks, right? And it's like, oh, Monday, it's Friday, we're going to be out of money. We're in scramble mode. I don't know if Compass is going to wait that long, or if they're positioning themselves to actually get acquired before it gets to that point. But they're not in a good position. They're burning cash at a ridiculously high level. So Del Preti's got them labeled as a prey. If a company doesn't have at least 12 months runway, they are prey. He doesn't have this in the Inman article, but if you go and subscribe to his newsletter, on his newsletter, he's got a big, huge block that says prey. If you click on that, we'll link this up in the show notes. Okay. There's a whole map, a market map of 275 real estate technology companies transforming today's housing market. We'll put that up on YouTube if you're watching. Hit the thumbs up if you like this content. If you're listening, you can go to the show notes and take a look at it. All right, so 2022 residential real estate technology landscape. There's a whole bunch of these companies, Nicole.
So many. There's so many you can't even really read them unless you zoom in.
Home listings and marketplaces. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, Homes, Opendoor, Abode, Trulia, Casablanca, Picasso, HomeSnap, Properly, HomeLight, Zero Down, Mavoto, Alto, Entera, Playhouse, Ember. Something I can't even read.
I can't read it either.
Home listings and marketplaces. Is there room for somebody else, or do you think it's more likely somebody comes and takes market share from some of these big names, or do you think, Nicole, it's more likely Zillow, maybe Realtor, one of these companies gobbles up some of the competitors? Which is more likely?
Well, I think they're probably gobbling up their competitors.
100%.
Yeah.
Then you go into rental markets, tech-enabled brokerages, agent tools. I mean, the amount of 275 places that people can either find a home, find title and escrow, find financing, Fine home renovations.
It's funny. It's kind of like what we talk about with agents now too, right? We kind of always like this downtime because then you wash out all the agents that were just like onesie twosies.
Great example.
It sounds like that's going to be happening here with all of these blur. I mean, they're literally blurs on my screen. All of these companies.
Yeah, and Del
Yeah,
Preti says what to watch. The name of the game for the next 6 to 18 months, to your point, Nicole, is VUCA, VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. With this type of environment, you're right. We're going to see nothing but companies acquire, merge. I'm running out of cash. I need to find a buyer. Okay. Open Door. They've got cash, but they've already strategically aligned with Zillow. They
right.
see what is coming. Hey, by the way, if you're a team in your market who's struggling, if you're an agent whose solo business is struggling right now, do you think it's time to strategically align with somebody who's got a bigger business that can help support you over the next 12 to 18 months? See, I would argue that you should be thinking about it the same way these big companies in real estate are thinking about it.
For
Cut
sure.
costs, invest in the things that are a growth opportunity, and make the strategic alignments that are going to help your business, whether that's the right brokerage that isn't necessarily giving you a bonus, but it's giving you the support, the leads, the education that you need, or
Right.
whether it's taking your team who's struggling to pay the bills and merging with the dominant team in the market to
Right.
create the biggest team of all time.
Right.
These are things I'd be thinking about because, and this is how Del Preti ended his article. It's a Warren Buffett quote. When the tide goes out, you discover who's been swimming naked.
Hmm.
In 2023, we're going to find out which teams are naked. Who's not operating with profitability in mind? Who's not sitting on cash to ride out what's coming? We'll find out by the end of 2023. He's talking about companies, Zillow, Compass. Who's the predator? Probably Zillow. Who's the prey? It's Compass. Think about that for your own market as well.
I'm
What
now
teams, what brokerages are the predators?
I'm
Go
now
ahead.
seeing why you picked this topic. I think you've used Compass as an example quite a bit this episode.
Well, listen, I don't want people to say, Byron, you're always saying Compass is going to get bought out. That's not a bad thing, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great agents at Compass.
Yeah.
They've made some noise. They've disrupted the industry. It might not be a bad thing when they get bought out, depending on who the buyer is, right?
Right.
I mean,
Well, for sure.
if the buyer is Zillow, do people say, uh-oh, what's going on here, right? Depending on who the buyer is, depending on who their strategic alignment is when it happens, might not be a bad thing. Now, if you don't like living in that uncertainty as an agent, you've got a decision to make.
Right.
Really good article. I mean, he's really good at this stuff, breaking it down, making sense of it. Obviously, we'll link it up and check it out. And again, if you like this content, hit the thumbs up on the YouTube. Gary Keller has spoken. Before we get to Gary on racket number 2, let's
We're
talk about
dropping it.
PropStream. Drop it like it's
Always.
hot. Prop it
Prop
like
it.
it's hot.
Prop it's like how we do that every time. We're coming up with our own new tagline and we fuck it up every time.
PropStream's the most trusted provider of real estate information. You can start a free trial today. We've looked at a whole bunch of data sources to find real estate investments and to find listings. PropStream is by far the best. You can find more leads. You can close more deals. You can start it all for free with a 7-day trial with the BAM link below. Skip tracing is only 10 cents a contact. So if you need leads, if you need really well-qualified leads, like I want people who have equity in their home because they can be a seller in this market, you can get that list with PropStream. If you want second homeowners, investors, you can get that list with PropStream. You can create, they've got smart lists created for you. You can create a whole bunch of lists, whatever you want to do. They're going to help you locate, elevate, and market to these highly motivated buyers and sellers. We love it as a seller lead funnel for investments that we can buy and for
Listings.
taking properties onto the market. All right. PropStream, try it. 7-day free trial below. All right, racket number 2.
You're doing like a mixture of like talking but pausing. Like you're,
Yeah,
yeah. How you feeling today? Yeah,
feeling great. I'm feeling great.
good.
Maybe if you're watching YouTube, you think maybe I have a twitch or something. There's something wrong with me. But if you're
No, there's
listening,
no twitch. It's like you're practicing, but you're not committing quite to the pause, but you're like
it,
in
it,
it.
if
But
you're listening on Spotify, it probably sounds more natural, I guess. I don't know. Okay.
maybe.
Realestatenews.com. Welcome to the party. I want to just say congratulations. I think the world of T360, Stefan Swanepoel, when he announced, we covered this on BAM on brokeagentmedia.com. He's been sitting on this domain, realestatenews.com, for 20 years. Because when I heard him come out, I'm like, oh my gosh, realestatenews.com. I would have liked to have had that domain, but I wasn't buying domains 20 years ago. So he's been sitting on it for a long time. And they just launched their website. We're excited at BAM because it's going to be a great resource for us to source.
For sure.
They've got some talented writers, and they're going to be covering some in-depth information in the real estate industry. And we're gonna use our first topic, or our second racket of the
Second
day.
topic.
But
Well, the first time we use their site as a
there you
topic.
go. There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Gary Keller. Always love talking about Gary Keller. He says, focus on a career, not a year, when working through a downturn, which is what we're experiencing. Keller sees opportunities for agents and brokers who remain proactive and double down on the aspects of their business that work well. All right, so he's the co-founder of Keller Williams. We know that. He's been in the game a long time. He's one of the real operators in our industry. He's been through it all. He says staying the course is key if agents want to be well positioned when this market turns, meaning we're on a downturn and
Right.
eventually it's going to turn the other way. Taming inflation, he calls a threat to democracy, is a painful but necessary step. We'll link this up, but he actually says it's necessary. Gary Keller, hitting pause in real estate appreciation boom is the correct step. Are the interest rate hikes too harsh? That's probably something we won't know until we look back in the coming years. Listen, it's not just Gary Keller. It's the Fed. It's everyone who has a pulse on interest rates saying they will go up as high as it takes to put downward pressure on this real estate appreciation boom. Doesn't mean we're going to see a 20 or 40% decline in home values. It
Right.
means this straight line appreciation that we're on is going to be
Level.
suppressed.
Yeah.
Many people are saying we just could have a flat year in appreciation, but not necessarily, lose valuations on homes. There are also others that believe, okay, we will lose some value on homes. Gary Keller is saying this is necessary. This must happen. He's predicting that we're going to see 1.3 million transactions in 2023. In 2022, this year. We're going to see 1.3 million. It's a level not seen since the Great Recession more than a decade ago. And that 2023 is going to be similar. Low transactions. Okay. So keep doing what works. All right. Focus on your career, not a year. When Gary Keller says focus on the career, not a year, what does that mean to you, Nicole, as an agent who's been in it more than a decade, who's a high producing agent? What does focus on a career, not a year, mean to you?
Well, I mean, again, what are the things that are working? What are the things that have kept you sort of that will provide you with longevity, but has gotten you here as well. So again, reading the article, I mean, I actually really enjoyed this paragraph the most because he gives some really great examples where, again, if making your calls for an hour worked last year, do it for 2, do it for 3. Really start doubling down on those actions that really have produced business for you instead of doing squirrel this year. I
Uh,
feel like the last 2 years, a lot of people have been doing sort of that squirrel, like I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and haven't really mastered a craft. So, if anything has worked for you in the last 2 years, I think now is the time to really sort of go in heavy on it. And again, then you'll have a career instead of a year. Again, I mean, and it's never a horrible thing, obviously, to go down. I mean, in 12, 13, I mean, I'd have an up year, I'd have a down year, but again, I'm still here. So I do think that it is really important to sort of squirrel away your cash. I mean, you've been saying that for the last at least two, maybe even 3 years. But again, it's time to double down on the tasks that are working and cut back on the squirreling so much.
When you hear spend 3 hours on lead generation, making your calls, prospecting, as opposed to one, if it only took one last year, it might take three this year.
Yeah.
An agent might say, well, I'm going to talk to so many people who aren't ready, who don't want to buy, who can't buy because they don't qualify.
But damn, dude, you're setting up your database for 5 years, 3
That's the point.
years. I
You
mean, come on. Like, these are conversations that you weren't gonna have, and now you have them. So think about the 4 year, think about that. And this is actually a really great time. Like, I loved doing open houses in 2012, and everybody here makes fun of me because I still have every single handwritten sign-in sheet from 2012, and I would constantly just go through them all the time. And those people didn't start buying until 2015. But again, I was there when they entered the market. I was there when it was kind of shitty, but they were still getting their toes wet. And as soon as they were ready to jump in, I mean, you're the natural person that they're then going to go to, because you've actually sustained over, like, your business over the time, but you've also maintained contact with them.
Absolutely. And you know what? Are you more likely in 3 hours of making phone calls every single day to find someone who's ready to buy and sell and invest in the next 90 days, or less likely?
No,
You're obviously more likely.
obviously, for sure.
Are,
Or they know somebody that is looking. Yeah,
are,
or they didn't realize that they were ready until they actually talked to you too.
are you more likely to find people to build a career in your database? Of course you are. Listen, you mentioned open houses. Agents avoiding open houses and thinking their next Instagram reel is going to bring them the business of today and tomorrow are kidding themselves.
Yeah,
Am I a big, big advocate of putting out content, of being known? Absolutely. But by you deciding that your content is going to get the phone to ring for you and only that, and not taking the action, not being an outbound producer of your business, is a massive mistake. You need
huge.
to be making these calls. And listen, if you want to kill two birds with one stone, put the phone on, show people how professional you are while you're making these calls. Okay. You can go live on IG. You can do different things to show people how professional. And between calls, while the phone's ringing, you can look into IG live and you can say, hey, here's what I'm trying to do to help people. Here's the uncertainty we're faced with in the market. Here's the question I'm being asked the most by people who want to buy and sell real estate. And here's the solutions that I'm providing. And oh, by the way, when you're done making your calls, you can take that IG live. You can clip out those little segments between people answering the calls, and that can be your content. You can kill two birds with one stone. Stop acting like things are going to happen for you because you put out a video, and
Right.
start making them happen because of your actions. Think long term, and you might be here as long as Gary Keller's been. I love real estate news. What a great article.
Great article. I think
Bam,
it's great. I do.
T360. Bam loves what you're doing.
I love it. It actually makes you feel better. That article made me feel better.
Absolutely.
Not better. I should say reassured.
Yeah.
Reassured is a much better word. Yeah.
He ends with how unique our industry is. Our way of working together is unique. It's highly valued around the world. Remember that. Work hard. Don't wait for the market to change. It might not change for 2 years. Put in more time. This is when you need to lean in.
Lean in.
Based off of our last conversation, every company needs to think the same way. Your teams, your agents, everything. All right, Nicole.
Ready?
Left, middle, right. It is the third segment of the Real Word every single week. It's the headlines in politics, real estate, entrepreneurs, and agents need to know. What do we have this week?
So the first one is from CNBC and probably every and any news outlet today. Adidas terminates partnership with. So you and I argue about this. I think it's ye. You think it's yay. But
Yeah,
anyway,
in the comments, Kanye changed his name to
is it
YE.
yay or is it ye
Is it yay or
for
ye?
Kanye, or is it ye for Yeezy? Anyway, I think it's ye. But anyway, Adidas terminates the partnership following rapper's anti-Semitic remarks.
This Adidas partnership that Kanye, whatever we're calling him, this Adidas partnership with the Yeezys has made Kanye West a billionaire.
Well,
It's
Adidas, I think it's a $2 billion sort of division within their company, from what I hear.
Adidas said this would have a short-term negative impact, breaking this partnership with Ye, of up to 250 million euros, 246 million on net income in 2022 due to high seasonality in the fourth quarter. Think about that, the holidays. People
Yeah.
were like calling Adidas out the last like week or two, like, what the
What
heck
are you
is
going to
going
do?
on?
What are you going to do? Yeah.
This guy is on a rampage. He's saying things that are anti-Semitic, that are insane. You can't say these things and you're not breaking the partnership. So they were faced with this public pressure. They finally cut ties despite how much money Kanye West is making Adidas. They cut the ties with him.
Well, I heard too on the news this morning that their stocks, that Adidas' stocks have been down a little bit, and that may have been why they were dragging their feet a little bit, because they had to like sort of shuffle through that. I don't follow the stock market, but that was sort of the speculation there.
Your content as an agent, your public perception as an agent, how you present yourself to the public as an agent matters. I was just speaking, Nicole, in North Carolina recently.
Yep.
And somebody said, well, I'm authentic. That's the difference between me and other agents. I said, give me an example of your authenticity, because being authentic is a buzzword on social.
Right.
Give me a tactical example of that. Well, he had a hat on backwards or whatever. I wear whatever the heck I want. I want to feel comfortable. I don't want to. And I dug deeper. I said, listen, I thought you were going to go there because you're wearing the hat. When you get a call from somebody who's asking you to come over and list their house and you know you got the listing, are you more or less likely to wear whatever you want, as opposed to when you have to grind in the beginning of your career, work, beg and plead for 5 minutes to just have an opportunity to talk to a potential seller when they've already told you on the phone they've chosen another agent? When you're down on your hands and knees, just looking for an opportunity, just give me the opportunity. Let me show you what I can do. I can prove it to you. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to persuade you. And you show up with a hat on backwards, you're eliminating yourself.
Right.
I'm sorry, but you just are. And I'm using that as an example of, I don't care if you're Kanye West making somebody so much money, or if you're the new agent that's just trying to get a name out there, or if you're the agent trying to restart your business, or if you're the dominant agent and if you never met this person. Your perception on social media matters a lot. The stories that you're telling make an impact. It could be you get somebody refers you, they go onto your IG, they see you talking bad about a past client relationship, not
Right.
calling that guy anymore.
Right.
I'll move somewhere.
Or
I'll
the
look at some
person's
other
not
option.
even referring you anymore. They know who you are, but they don't feel comfortable referring you because of what they may find.
Because they know the person that they're referring is on Instagram every day and they're going to go look you up.
Right. Yeah.
People don't just act off of the referral anymore. They look you up.
Oh, for sure. Why not? I mean, we're doing it to our clients.
So I'm not saying you're going to be insane like Kanye West and make some type of anti-Semitic remark. That's a career killer, obviously. But a deal killer, a relationship killer, it's just going out there and talking nonsense about the business. It's trying to be the broke agent when you're not.
Right.
The broke agent's an escape, a community for us to get together and laugh about how hard this business is. BAM is a resource to be better. Keep that in mind when you're producing the content. Be better. Be professional. What you wear, what you say, how you conduct yourself will matter if you want to have some of these sinking transactions in 2023. What else we got, Nicole?
Boom. Look at you. Get heated over there. Damn you, ye. Okay, so Inman, now we're back to
Yay.
Inman. It's ye. Midterm elections impact real estate. Vote.
Yeah, so we can all ignore elections as being political. That's everybody's cop out.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to talk about the election because I don't want to talk about politics. It's too emotional for me to talk about politics. But that's not going to make them go away. It's according to Inman, and they're right. No adult who is old enough to vote is above politics. I completely agree. Teresa Boardman wrote the article. Completely agree with you, Teresa. November 8th is election day. You better get your butt out there and vote. You're not too busy to vote. So we're going to be voting for federal and state representatives and governors. It's one of the reasons that a couple months ago we decided this segment was important because we knew politics were going to be a hot topic over the coming weeks. How do we relate that to our business? How do we relate to clients who are thinking about these things? So these are the midterm elections. Midterms obviously happen between these presidential elections. During a presidential election, voter turnout, Nicole, is only, guess, 50 to 60% of eligible voters. You think it would be higher, but during presidential elections, even when we have one of the biggest of all time,
Turnouts. Yeah.
it's only 50 to 60%. During the midterm elections, Nicole, it drops to around 40%
I thought it would have been a little lower.
for the midterms, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. They should be higher, especially in our industry. They should be 100%. Midterm electors have a direct impact on the real estate industry. Okay. So whether you're voting for a sheriff, a judge, a county commissioner, the school board members, I mean, these are people that have a direct impact on your community. And so it might not be about when it comes to these midterm elections, it may not be about the political party that you really support and just voting down the ticket because you support those, social needs or you support those policies or whatever. Oftentimes, if you want to like really vote in relation to your career and your business, your realtor association board is going to tell you who they're supporting, which means these are the candidates that are supporting your career, your business, and the real estate needs of our community. So you already pay money to RPAC, Realtors Political Action Committee, and they always have a list of candidates that they support in the midterm elections. So maybe you're going to say, well, I can't vote for them because one issue or another, and that's your right. Totally get that. But at least take into consideration what your board is supporting because they're taking a very, non-political point of view. They're saying these are the candidates that are pushing forward the agendas of the real estate industry, how to get more people into home ownership, right? How do we get more affordable housing? How do we keep certain tax credits for investors alive? So I'd pay close attention. Don't just show up on November 8th and let's go down the ticket of, what club I'm in. You may be going, you may be on both sides. That's
Right.
okay. Okay. That's okay. That means you're being thoughtful. You're actually having a strategy when you go in there and vote. Your local
I,
market doesn't necessarily relate to Washington either. I'll just say that.
well, that or like again, let's just show up. Let's show
Definitely.
up. I mean, let's show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Teresa, great job. There's some other stuff in there I might not agree with that she writes about, but I won't even go there. You can impact your local community by going out on November 8th and vote. Definitely do that. It's what else you got, right? It's
Right.
one of those rights. Take advantage of it. Good episode, Nicole.
Yeah. You feel good, huh?
Yeah, are
It's
you gonna
good. What?
for those who've been following along, I'm
Yep.
selling the Connecticut house because I'm
Yep.
capitalizing and getting out of the HOA so I can go do an Airbnb on my Connecticut house, just kind of
Yep.
push it. I'm moving the chips around, right?
Moving
Moving
them
them
around
around
a
a little bit.
little
And the appraisal's happening right now. And
right now, and I'm not there.
I love appraisers. I want to put some good vibes out
Put
there.
some good juju out there. I should have cooked baked some cookies or something for him.
Run over there and make sure that you do everything you can.
I will do everything I can.
All right. Good show. Keep it real,
Good show.
guys. Love for you to leave a comment what your thoughts are. Let us know if you're going to be voting. Consider subscribing to the BAM YouTube channel. We'll see you on The Real Word, the greatest podcast in real estate history.